You're obviously one of the only men to ever beat Canelo Alvarez. How would you give Terence the blueprint?
I could compare like with the Canelo, yeah? He put all his energy, all his power on.
Just need to do his job, what he's doing well. You know, he's changing his stance, he's moving a lot, you know, he's keeping distance. Like this he could win, of course, not with changing punches.
When Canelo Alvarez was at his peak, no one could touch him. That is, until Dmitry Bivol showed up with the perfect game plan and handed Canelo a rare loss, revealing the blueprint to beat him. Now, the very man who cracked the code is training side by side with Terence Crawford, who's set to face Canelo this September, offering him insights and exposing the weaknesses few have seen. So, how did these two link up, and what could it mean for Crawford's shot at greatness? Let's find out. For nearly a decade, Canelo Alvarez reigned supreme. He wasn't just winning, he was destroying. One by one, opponents fell victim to his crushing body shots, his pinpoint counters, and that terrifying mix of precision and power. He moved through weight classes with ease, collected belts like trophies, and left behind a trail of broken challengers. At his peak, Canelo wasn't just the face of boxing, he was the standard. And for a while, it seemed like no one on earth could touch him. But then came Dmitry Bivol. In 2022, the Russian light heavyweight stepped into the ring and did what many thought was impossible. He outboxed the Mexican icon across 12 dominant rounds. Calm, composed, and technically flawless. Bivol didn't just win on the scorecards, he exposed a side of Canelo that fans hadn't seen in years. It was a masterclass, a performance rooted not in brute strength, but in discipline, timing, and an unshakable mindset. And now, in a twist that's raising eyebrows across the boxing world, Bivol is reportedly training alongside Terence "Bud" Crawford, the man scheduled to fight Canelo this September. This isn't just two fighters sharing gym space. According to sources, Bivol is passing along his wisdom, giving Crawford insights into the holes he spotted in Canelo's armor, walking him through the subtle movements and mental strategies that helped him pull off the upset, and even offering advice on how to stay mentally sharp against a fighter who thrives on pressure. But how did this unexpected alliance come to be? And what exactly was it about Bivol's mindset that allowed him to succeed where so many others had failed? It all starts with mutual respect. Bivol has long been a quiet admirer of Terence Crawford. Long before any talk of training together, the Russian was open about his admiration for the American style, often praising Crawford as one of the smartest, most complete boxers in the game. If you want to learn how to box, Bivol once said in an interview, watch Crawford, study him. That's how the sport should be done.
Crawford is amazing, not just good, he's amazing. And
he said the same thing about you.
Thank you, Terence. But I think he should be in the book for
really? Is that good?
How to learn boxing, you know?
Really?
He's a very good fighter. Yeah, I like to watch his fights.
Pound for pound number one?
Yeah, probably he is now, because he is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes.
It's crazy.
And the respect wasn't one-sided. Crawford, who always keeps a close eye on the fight game, knew exactly what Bivol had done against Canelo, and he appreciated the brilliance behind it. There's even a memorable moment of the two posing together in the ring after one of Bivol's biggest career wins, both men smiling, both aware of the greatness standing beside them. Still, even with that shared admiration, Bivol didn't rush to offer advice. He explained in interviews that while he had immense respect for Crawford, he didn't feel it was his place to teach someone of Crawford's caliber how to fight. After all, Crawford is a generational talent in his own right, undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147, and gunning for greatness in a third division. Bivol wasn't going to hand out unsolicited tips to a man who already understood the art of war.
Crawford, he's a fighter with one of my favorite fighters, to be honest. I told it before and I'm telling it now. He's very smart. He knows how to use his skills, even that he's older than before. But he has a good chance, to be honest, and with his style.
What advice would you give him on how to beat Canelo if they were to fight?
I will not advise him because he knows already what to do,
But he made one thing clear. If Crawford wanted advice, if he asked, Bivol would be more than happy to share.
Why I should advise him? If he asks me, maybe I will tell my experience, but I will not take advice because he could give advice by himself.
Sure enough, the call came. Crawford reportedly reached out, curious not just about the physical strategy Bivol used, but about the mental approach. How did Bivol stay composed against a fighter with Canelo's resume? How did he avoid falling into the traps that had snared so many before him? How did he keep his rhythm, his game plan, and his nerve? Bivol answered, and more than that, he showed. The two began training together, and Bivol began sharing not just tactical insight, but the subtle mental cues that gave him an edge. How to read Canelo's feints, how to avoid getting hypnotized by his pressure, how to frustrate him by refusing to be baited into exchanges, and most importantly, how to remain calm when the whole world expects you to fold. For years, Canelo Alvarez carried an aura of invincibility. His opponents didn't just prepare for a fight, they braced for war. Some were so intimidated by his power and presence that they believed he could beat heavyweights. The myth of Canelo had grown larger than the man himself. But Dmitry Bivol never bought into that mythology. Even before stepping into the ring with the Mexican superstar, Bivol said something few dared to voice. Canelo is only human. He wasn't being disrespectful, he was being honest. Bivol recognized Canelo's greatness, but he didn't place him on a pedestal. He didn't get hypnotized by the belts, the knockouts, or the legends whispered about Canelo's punching power. He simply believed in his own skill set, and that belief became the foundation of one of the most impressive upsets in recent boxing history.
He has a good skills, but most of people think about him like he's untouchable or he's unstoppable or he has enough power to beat super heavyweights. Sometimes it's funny to to hear about him from people. But first of all, he's a good fighter, but he's a man and he had lost and draw. It means if you believe in your skills, if you are a good boxer, you could make him one more loss.
When fight night arrived, Bivol executed his plan flawlessly. He stuck to his game, remained composed, and never once allowed Canelo to dictate the pace. He didn't fear the big shot. In fact, he anticipated it. He understood that Canelo fights like a one-punch man, a term he used to describe how Canelo often banks on landing one massive punch to turn the tide.
I could compare like with the Canelo, yeah? He put all his energy, all his power on single punch. And yeah, maybe single punch sometimes he's harder, Canelo, yeah, than Better Beef.
No way.
Because Better Beef didn't do like Better Beef was more like close and
compact.
compact.
Tight guard.
Yeah. But if you ask them, let's do like 5 punches, yeah. Better Beef, every punch will be hard. With Canelo, maybe first hard, and then both of them are strong, but Better Beef is bigger and he born strong.
So Bivol avoided that punch. He used distance, movement, and a disciplined jab to neutralize Canelo's offense. And in doing so, he proved a point that had long been overlooked. When you fight Canelo without fear, when you focus on your own strengths instead of his, the playing field looks very different. According to Bivol, that was the major flaw in Canelo's past opponents. They were too focused on what he could do to them, not what they could do to him. They entered the ring already in retreat, reacting to his rhythm instead of imposing their own. Bivol flipped that dynamic. He didn't show up to survive. He came to win.
You took the best out of Canelo. How did you pull that off?
I think I was just myself without fear, because most of his opponents, they have fear and they don't do what they can do. You know, they're very tight mentally and body. They don't throw enough punches. I think this is the most important.
And talking about that, when do we get a chance to see you doing you again against none other than Dmitry Bivol?
I hope November, December, I will have a chance to have fight.
And now, he's passing that mindset to Terence Crawford. With Crawford set to face Canelo in September, reports have emerged that Bivol and Crawford have been training together. But more than the physical aspect, it's the mental game where Bivol's influence could prove most valuable. He's been offering Crawford insights, not just on how to fight Canelo, but how to think against him. The advice is clear. Don't get caught up in the mystique. Don't give Canelo the mental advantage before the first bell even rings. Stay calm, stay focused. Focus on what you do best. And that's exactly what Bivol sees in Crawford. He believes Crawford is one of the few fighters with the skill set and mental sharpness to truly test Canelo. He doesn't expect Crawford to stand and trade with the heavier man. He expects him to play to his strengths: sharp footwork, slick head movement, switching stances seamlessly, controlling range, and keeping the tempo unpredictable.
You're obviously one of the only men to ever beat Canelo Alvarez. How would you give Terence the blueprint to beat Canelo? How would you give the blueprint to Terence to beat Canelo Alvarez?
Just need to do his job, what he's doing well. You know, he's changing his stance, he's moving a lot, you know, he's keeping distance. Like this he could win, of course, not with changing punches.
Bivol acknowledges that Canelo has the power advantage. That's never been in question. But as he proved in their fight, power alone doesn't win fights, especially when your opponent refuses to let you get comfortable.
There's more power out of the two?
Canelo, of course, he got used to this weight class more than Crawford. He need to get used to this power, even he's big.
So how does
And that's the warning Bivol has issued. This won't be like Canelo's previous fights. Crawford is a different kind of animal. He's not just a skilled boxer. He's a thinker, a tactician, a master of adaptation. He won't let Canelo waltz forward and set the rhythm. He won't give him the breathing room to load up his shots or trap him along the ropes.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo.
But Bivol is no blind optimist. He's realistic. He knows Crawford faces a mountain of challenges. First, there's the jump in weight. Adjusting to a heavier class while maintaining speed and endurance is no small task. Then there's the power. Canelo's punches carry serious consequences, especially for someone not accustomed to absorbing that kind of force. On top of that, Crawford will need a flawless training camp, peak conditioning, and a razor-sharp mindset come fight night.
First reaction, of course, it was about size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to move up for 2 weight classes, yeah? And he has very good skill. He able to win this fight. But there is a lot of but, and even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168
maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward, he can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
In other words, everything needs to go right. But if it does, Bivol believes Crawford has what it takes. And that belief means something. After all, it's coming from the one man who's already done it. The man who silenced the crowd and left Canelo searching for answers. Crawford, for his part, has approached this fight like a true student of the game. He's not relying on hype or reputation. He's studying. He's learning. And he's willing to listen to someone who's already walked through the fire and come out unburned. Calling Bivol wasn't just a smart move, it was a sign of humility and hunger. It showed that Crawford isn't just chasing glory, he's preparing for war with every tool available. Because in boxing, greatness isn't just about talent, it's about preparation, mindset, and execution. And when you're getting ready to face someone like Canelo Alvarez, you don't leave any stone unturned. Terence Crawford is doing exactly that. And if he follows the blueprint, his own version of it, refined with Bivol's insight, he just might shock the world. Again. But what about you, fight fans? Do you think that Crawford should implement Bivol's mindset in his upcoming Canelo fight? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.